ahead and finished all those bushes off camera. I did the same thing with the 3 pencils. I actually even went ahead and just did these while I was at it. Up here, did the same thing. I touched a little shadow work with that dark pit artist pen. Used the blender, wove around everything. Pretty simple. Another thing I did, and we're going to do some stuff with my pit artist pens now. You can use any similar water-based pen, although pit pens are really good because they're very fine and narrow, so you can have good control of them. I took also the darker green and did these leaves here. A couple leaves I'd missed here and here, overlapping the trees. And then I did these things here with the lighter green. I'm not even sure what these are, these little bubble things, but I did those. And I went and just took this same pit green and did this grass blade so they would pop out above on a darker green than what's behind it, basically. I touched this over a few of these dark spots, these darker little grass things down here. And I put a few spots more on these plants so they would show a little more. And so what we're going to do now, a couple things. First thing is I have a Artex acrylic marker, and it's like a brush marker. These are water-based, but they're acrylic and like a paint marker basically, but you don't have to shake them or anything. But they're nice and deep and rich, and sometimes I like to put them over pencil. So what I did right here, and I'm also just gonna do it here, I'm gonna go over the red sky we did with pencil because it looks kind of, we have that depth already in the background, but this marker, it looks real juicy and it makes it look really vibrant, and it just looks like a nice bright apple-y sky, and it just changes the look, you can tell. So you don't have to do this, but you can, if you have any of the Artex markers or like a Tombow water-based marker, you can run it over. A water-based marker can be a little slippery on top of a pencil blender stick, but acrylic is more paint. I do recommend these acrylic pens, or any, in fact. Artex has quite a few sets and they're not very expensive, and I use them for quite a bit. I will link this below and all the supplies I'm using here, and I do tend to use my supplies over and over. See, now I see a little sky we missed, so I'm just going to touch it with this paint because it's nice and deep and rich red, you can see. So it looks really nice. It looks more solid. It's popping out more. You can see the apple more. So I'm going to touch all the areas we did red. And this red is called, it's A35. They don't have names. Seems. Let's go over here. All right. So yeah, I'm touching up all the sky. I'm looking around where we might want a little more sky. I think we might want to do a little in here. Maybe in between these little branches. Just around the edges. Maybe a little bit between these tree trunks. And it's nice, you don't have to blend anything, just kind of underline the tree trunk so they go right to the base. Okay. All right, and you don't, again, this is an optional step, but I like it. Gonna get this little area here, just kind of fill it in. Looks like we still have a little sky. There's no pencil behind here, but it's close enough. Okay, just doing a little bit here. Question about that area is where to stop, but I think I'm going for like a rounded apple shape, so I'm gonna try to do a little bit of a curve and just fill that in. All right. thought about doing that all the way down, but the sky or the apple background's more up here. So that looks great, and it's kind of a like a fiery, has a tint of orange in it almost, so it's a great apple background sky color, different than the red, of course, that we put on her dress and the apple. So now, because this is so bright, we can see the apple more. We might touch a little bit of that red down here. First thing I want to do is to show you my artist pen. So I have the standard black. You can buy these in the set. You can buy them individually. I have a standard black. I have a gray, any gray. This is a warm gray 5. I have the pink. Where's... Oh. My pink is missing. I just had it in my hand. Pink. Oh, I'm such a goof. It's yellow and I have the pink lid. Duh. Okay, well, that's not it. I needed a pink one, which means I need the one that has yellow, probably has the pink lid on it. Why did I do that? There. I have like a giant thing of like mixed stuff that I'm too lazy to put back in its cases, where I just grab random things when I need it. So here's the pink with the yellow lid. Okay, I have a pink. We're going to do a couple of these flowers. We need the black, a gray, any brown. I grabbed 3 different browns. You can use any single brown. One of mine is almost dried up, which I think is this one. But 2 of mine are. So I always recommend having a brown, a red, a black, a gray, mid-tones, a green for these little detail works if you don't want to buy like the full one. But I want to do these vines in black because, you know, she has a poison apple. I want that little touch of, and remember how I said colors that are up here, like we have this black on her hair, which we're also going to touch with the artist pen. I want a little bit of black down here to kind of accent it. And might put like black spots on the mushrooms. And so because these have these fine controlled stiff point, it's real easy for little skinny things like this. A pencil would likely go over, it'd be hard to get it right where we want it, unless it's really sharp. And the Black Widows, again, have a more wide lead area. And it is a vine, but my black is getting a little dull. I've had it for quite a long time, so it almost looks like a dark brown, which is fine as well, because vines can be brown, but it's like a blackish brown. I've probably had this one for a year now. To buy them individually, they're probably like $7.99, $8. I'll link below if I can find any of individual ones and all the supplies you might want for this listing. And I do use them again and again, so don't think you'll only be using it for this listing if that's a hesitation for you. And you can just use a black pencil if you want, or you can use a black water-based pen. If you use a black alcohol marker, put a divider, it will bleed through. Okay, I'm going to get the thorns as well. All right. Around. All right, and sometimes, in fact, when that dries fully, 10 minutes, or just to make sure it's fully dry, I might go over it with a black pencil so it's real vibrant. Again, that's optional. I might want to stripe a little bit of this into her hair and a couple of strands, because again, the pencil can be kind of dull. And you can dab it because it's got a little bit of wetness, not a ton, just to soften it a little, so it's more like a little bit of a detail and contour on her hair. All right, do one down here, just kind of following a few of the textured lines. I'm gonna dab it. It washes off your hand, don't worry about it. I dab it just so it's not quite as stark. And it just pops out a little more. I'm gonna do one here. Push hard. Just to kind of, you can see the difference, but it's now softer. And this is over the pencil we're doing it. Suppose you could use a cotton ball or something. I've just always had messy fingers because being an artist. I want really darker right around there. Dab it just a little. Her eyebrow. Right there, we're on the tree line area. All right. I'm gonna do the inside of her arm right there. Just gives it a little more obvious shadow. Okay. Just some goodness. Great. So that just gives it a little more definition. I'm gonna do the center of her bow in black right there. And these armbands I'm doing fully black. Don't forget we're in a dark forest. I don't want it to be too dark though. I'm just gonna do this strand right there. That's her ear. A little bit more right along the line of here. And we'll put a little Polska detail on the apple. I'm going to do the crisscross pattern on her bodice. You want a black micron for that. These are microns and they're really, really fine like this. And I use them for eyelashes and stuff too, because this is so skinny. For laces, it's good, or eyelashes. Not the easiest to go over the waxy blender material, but it works. I'm going to redo like the little button things going down. Excellent. I'll go down the middle. Just gives it a little more detail on her dress. Might use some black down here, but I'm gonna put this away. Let's set our two blacks aside, and these are very commonly used blacks. We still have to do our skin. I'm totally putting that off. We're gonna do the brown, and the dark brown. This is a walnut brown pit pen for these little branches here, just because I can do it fairly easy. Except that this one is about dead. It's too dead. Another thing you can use, I'll show you in a minute, are these basic scented Paper Mate flares. They're really cheap. You can get them at Walmart or online, and we're gonna, like I did a little purple on that egg or rock or whatever that is. You can get that as well. But right now I'm trying to do these different brown here. Almost all my browns are almost dead because I use them like crazy. Again, real good for these single color narrow areas. Okay, there's a branch right here. And there's a couple of vines right here. I needed, this one I know is not dead. This is Caput Mortuum. And I can get these vines. It's like a standard reddish terracotta brown. Yeah, see, and it goes fairly well over the waxy pencil blender, and I'm not going to dab that one because I want it to be bold, unlike the one in her hair. But you feel it feels almost like slippery when you do that. It's kind of hard to describe. And this way we can get our details done faster. So for example, I missed right here, a little bit bush in between. Do I see any more vines? I'm doing a couple of thorns. Thorns. See that many? Any over here? Yep. So basically they're like the flower stems, kind of a brownish color. You don't want to use green because it won't really stand out, right, over the green. And sometimes these dark pit pens go good to do like the spots on the tree. We did yellow and yellow here to kind of coordinate with her dress. Like if we wanted to do a little tiny one, we could do one right there. This just gives like a little more detail. I like the yellow though because it goes with her dress. And sometimes you can stripe these down like a tree if you need a little more texture look. Just put some lines like this. And don't do anything, just leave it. Don't dab it or anything. Like these ones that have the lines already. That works well. You can go over these skinny ones here. Okay, this is a nice color for touching up trees too. I don't see more area for the brown. The mushrooms though do need I need a lighter color for the mushrooms. See if I can find something. Okay, so then the gray, yeah, to me these look like Easter eggs. I guess they're supposed to be rocks. So I'm going to do a couple of these in gray with the gray and this purple I did. I'm kind of striping them. I don't know that's what they are, but so this one I'll just do this darker stripe. This is a dark gray. Plus it's a magic forest, so you can use any kind of colors you want really. I don't see any over here, so then we'll take that Papermate Flare, and these are felt, so they don't cause too much damage. I mean, it goes through a little, but not enough to bleed to the other paper. Now again, this is standard Amazon paper, so it's pretty thin. You can see your hand shadow through. So a black pit pen would show through, whereas a light colored one, like I use lots of green, you don't see it anywhere, or even the brown, but you can see a little bit of that black. So, okay, I'm just gonna touch lightly. This Papermate Flare. You can use a purple gel pen. You can use pencil if you want. Whatever you want. I only use these for little tiny areas because they're so, the points are so controlled and tight. All right. So we get the little bits of purple in there. Missed a spot. The gray. And there's one here. And then take in the gray, do the center, little circles. You can do these little rock things or egg things or whatever they're any way you want. I'm just doing gray and purple. Okay, so then I'm going to take the pink Pit Artist pen, and this is Pink Madder Lake. I use it so often. It's great for flowers. I'll just show you. I'm going to do a little flower here. This one's probably getting pale. I use it so much. Sometimes these are good to touch up with pencil, but you can, once you get down to like the little details, you've been coloring the same picture forever, you just want to get it done. This one almost is almost too big of an area to use it for, but just do little squiggles so you don't get any stripes, streaks. That. My peppermint flares are scented. It smells like grape. I smell like purple grape right now. Smells like Bonnie Bell Lip Smackers. Okay, excellent. So let's do this one here. It hasn't opened up yet. I think we need some red roses for Snow White. Let's make those two roses red. You can use pencil here if you want. Use any pens you like. I might touch that up with a little white. I want to use, oh Lord, I just dropped Tombow. I just dropped something important. Okay. So, just in case this doesn't bleed through, I'm going to put this here. So I'm using a Tombow water-based, and I'm going to hit up this whole rose with it, and then we're going to touch it up with the acrylic. Just make it be red. Again, you can do pencil as well if you like, but a little bit of like pen details make things pop, because pencil is kind of dull, you know. It's soft and it's flat. Okay, there we go. Then I'm going to take what I did back here and put some of that there. I'm going to just touch right on the side there of that rose. I'm going to do these little bulbous things here because green would not stand out at all. Okay, and okay, now I'm going to take that acrylic Artex marker and just do over that marker, just maybe not every petal, but a few, and it will cover up nicely. Like there, I had some pencil. So it kind of brings the rose color of the sky also down here. So there's a coordinating color theme. You see how that goes so nicely together? I'm just going to touch up the whole thing. Okay. Good, good, good. So next, what I would do before we get to her face and the stem is I would use a couple of these greens to do these leaves. I'm just going to show you what I did with my dark one. If you have a, I don't have an alcohol mark. Oh, here's another green. There's two greens. So here I'm going to do two colors. So it's Permanent Green Olive and May Green. And they don't blend, I mean, they're not the greatest blending thing, but if you do it quick, you can blend two colors. You'll see, or like kind of continue them at least. Make them look a little mottled. And give it kind of a leafy pattern look there. Just doing a little at the base. Again, this is just a quick, easy way to do a couple leaves. I want to move on to my Outlander picture I want to do for you guys. So, and if you don't like how it looks, you just go over it with a pencil, which I probably will do once this dries. But the goal is to have a different green on top of the green in the background so they stand out a little bit. Okay, we're going to do her skin and let this dry, and I might touch up with some pencil. All right. Just going to let that dry up a little. Or if you don't like it, just go with the full dark one and just go on over. Careful, it's wet. It can start to tear up the paper. Yeah, see, it's taking the paper a little bit up. So that's why you ideally want to go over with pencil, but at least you can get it darker. Just go really light and quick. But you can still see some of that lighter green poke through, kind of. So but it really stands out. It's taking up some of the paper. So not recommend to do that too often. I'm gonna let that sit. I should have used the pencil like my first instinct. All right. We are going to, I'm gonna pick two brown pencils, different browns to do the stem, some of the mushrooms and her skin, and we will be all done. I haven't decided. I thought of putting a red haze with a pan pastel all around her, but haven't quite decided yet. All right, so let's go ahead and do the little stem. I pulled 3 browns and added it to the palette. We have brown brick, dragon, saddle, and tarantula. The darkest being tarantula. So we'll start with that one. And I'm gonna zoom in on this stem for you. So I'm just gonna kind of do some darker shadow along the top. And then the rest I'm gonna do kind of like we did the tree. Just kind of stripe some of it down. Some darker lines. I'm gonna do a little darker right here at the base. A little darker right above here. Then let's put in the brown brick. We'll blend it in a little bit to this top part here where we did darker. Then we're just going to kind of randomly add it in here, maybe right along the line. Real easy. Then let's put in some dragon saddle. We'll finish blending it up here. All right, we're going to blend this all the way down. Not fully going to finish it yet. Go back to the tarantula, add in a little more dark. A little more dark, like right about here. A little bit down here, I want it darker, closer to the apple. Just get a few more dark lines in. Okay, I'll do the brick brown. And lastly, go back to the dragon saddle. So we just did 2 quick rounds. Let's just touch the remaining white areas with this. I want it pretty sharp. It's easy to go over the line here. And we don't have to get all the white tooth. We will blend it out with our blender. stick, which is missing. Mine is at least. Okay, I have a 3-pack. All right, actually I found it here. Let's go ahead and blend this in. You want it pretty sharp, this blender stick, because it's such a narrow area. So you can really get right at the edge without putting any pigment too much onto the white area. A little tricky. There we go. Oh, I was able to locate some photos of this picture, and yes, these are supposed to be sleeves, like a tight, the color is kind of tight material, so like blue. So we will be putting in the blue pencil on her sleeves. It's more like a spandexy is how it was made to look. It's just hard to tell if it was supposed to be skin or not, but that's one reason I was waiting. I wanted to do a little research and find anyone who's colored this picture, which wasn't that easy actually. And I finally found 1 or 2 and 3, I think, actually, and they weren't very good, but I saw that the sleeves were done and it looked right. So actually one of them was pretty good. The other 2 probably not much color blending going on. I'll take one, just get that white spot I can't quite hit because it's so close to the border. All right, so that's our stem. Looks good. I remember I need that light color. I'm gonna take that dragon saddle because I accidentally did this branch before and blend a little bit of this and try to lighten it up right here. This is a good brown, if light brown, if you need to touch up anything. I'm looking around. I might use this for the mushrooms. And for the mushrooms, I don't think I actually need it. So for the mushrooms, I have snow and brown fog. I added that up here to the top. The brown fog's a little darker, so we're gonna do the stems of the mushrooms in the brown fog. And I'm just gonna try to do them a solid color. You know, I actually don't think this isn't gonna be dark enough. Well, I'm gonna take that brown, that dragon saddle we were just using to put a little bit in the stems, like, so it looks a little darker before I add my brown fog, just a little. Maybe right like at the base there, like right. Okay, I'm gonna have to go back out because you guys can't see everything I'm doing. So there's a mushroom here. I'm gonna do that brown saddle. Then we'll just take the brown fog, because mushroom stems are pretty pale, or mushrooms in general are, but unfortunately, I guess it depends on what kind of mushrooms now that I think about it. Actually, so I'm gonna do the brown fog on the top part. We'll go over it a little bit with the snow. Oh, it's just not. It's just showing up the way I wanted. I actually thought of doing these originally blue to accent her top, little blue mushrooms. Let me try this again. I mean, it's just so pale. Let's just go try to finish it. Brown fog. We'll put some little blue spots on them. So they're pretty pale. I don't think we're gonna, let me take the snow and kind of blend this in a little. Like the white buttonhead mushrooms I was going for. I mean, that's fine. They just don't show very much. Okay, let's get up here, this little guy. I'm just doing the mushroom caps right now. Trying to do kind of a harder pressure to tint them a little bit. I'll go over the whatever we did on the stem as well. Okay. Gonna take my brown saddle and darken up that little stem right there. I think that works well enough. I don't like coloring mushrooms. I find that boring. Never have. Brown fog. White. And then let's take I have a blue alcohol marker. This is just indigo blue. You can take any blue you want. This is a Prisma I just grabbed. And I'm going to do the little dots. Oh, never mind. This is dried out. Okay. Improvise. Another blue. There we go. Let's just use this blue. This is a blue cobalt artist pen. There we go. I just wanted some little blue dots just to give them a little color and kind of accent her dress a little. All right, I'm going to actually add spots to the plain ones. Little dots. You could theoretically do your mushrooms any way you want. I don't like mushrooms. I just keep them real simple. Okay. There we go. That looks fine to me. I actually see, take a pit pen, I see that green with that. See a couple spots I missed on here. Just look around. If you see any white tooth you missed because you couldn't reach with the blender, just take like a pit pen, dab over it. I don't see many, but there's a little bit right there. These look a little dull. I'm gonna go over these. This is a olive. Oh, May green. This is May green. I love my pit pens. All right. I'm just gonna touch over these. A couple of these randomly. Now it's all dry. So some of them look a little brighter than others. Yeah, this is giving it like a nice emerald color kind of on top, and you can kind of see the gradient of the pencils underneath. It's a nice look I like to do sometimes. Just a little, almost like a top gloss, if that makes sense. All right. Let's do her sleeves and her skin. I mean, she doesn't have much skin, so it should be real easy. Okay. So for her skin, we have light mocha, eggshell, murk, and blush. All of which I have here ready. Let me just get the cards. Light mocha. Okay, so the light mocha is the darker color. It's a little bit, has a little bit more of a brown, golden sort of tint. The eggshell is pretty pale. I'm actually going to take, well, Let me look on my card here. Eggshell, Merc blush. Why don't I have eggshell, Merc blush? Oh, where's my light mocha card is missing. Okay, so let's do light mocha. 019. Okay. Sorry, I just didn't have a card for it. Yeah, so let's take the, oh, that's pretty tough. Let's take the light mocha. Just want to double check how the color is showing up here. Yeah, light mocha. Okay. Let me zoom in. To go to Alexa, what time is it?
It's 10:32 a.m.
I have to go my physical therapy soon. Okay. My neck, hurt my neck. No fun being older. Okay, so we're doing light mocha. What I'm just gonna do is I'm just gonna put a little bit of this around her ear. I'm just gonna create like a little bit of a shadow, very light pressure up around her hair, her eyebrow. And a little bit under her neck. We want it a little darker there. I mean, her skin's supposed to be pretty pale, right? So I don't need much. I'm going to create a little bit of a line around her chin and then put a little bit of this on her nose. I mean, it's such a small amount of skin, it's not real visible. Let's get her hands, like her wrist area and her fingertips. You want it a little darker. Okay. I need that brush. Just real soft. All right, let's go to the Merc color. Where are you? There you are. And I'm gonna blend a little bit into that along the top. A little bit around here in the center of her, or the right side of her palm. It's really hard to get skin color down when you have such a small area because you can't hardly see it because skin color already is so pale. You know, let's get some along kind of her bust line right above the top of it. Little ear. And then we're gonna go with the blush. Just put some into her cheeks here. We'll go over it. So just give her some rosy pink cheek. It's pretty light. There we go. Now also put a little right over her knuckles, like in the center of her hand. Maybe right here in the opening of the palm of her hand. So again, you can hardly see these colors, but the blush you can see a little if you really kind of work it. Make sure you get rid of the crumbs. Let's put a little bit like of a blush line right in center of her chest right there. I'm gonna put a little under the neck. We'll keep darkening that. Then let's do the eggshell, which is pretty pale, but you know, it's Snow White, so I even went less white than I wanted, but I want it to show. So we're just gonna try to blend in the rest of her cheek, kind of go around that blush color. You can press on it a little, but not too hard. Let's just try to get the rest. I'm gonna use a marker or a pencil, put a little blue eyeshadow on her. I'm gonna get the rest of her chest here, try to go around her hair, not catch any of the hair. Generally, I should be doing skin first, but I often don't pick skin tone until I see how the hair and the clothes and everything looks. But it's easier to apply skin tone color when there's nothing else down. All right, let's get the rest of the hand. I'm gonna use a harder pressure here just to get that skin color down. Kind of blend the other two colors together. Let's get around her lips a little. Okay, then go back to the light mocha. I want to put a little more shadow around her hair up here. And her nose, it's real hard to see. But I think it's, let's do her wrist a little darker. A little darker. I'm going to do her side of her bodice here, along the base a little bit. Just a little, then her neck again. Let's do a little bit more of the Merc. The Merc. Just gonna try to get that in. Don't worry about her eyelid. And blend in a little more of that there and there. And that blush. Gonna really try to circle in some more rosy cheek. I really should hit this with a different pink. It's not quite pink enough. I'm gonna see if I can find another pink to touch that up here in a second. Get a little bit more in her center there. And then the eggshell again. Eggshell. I'm just going to add that to the center. And right around under her eye, her nose, her mouth. Okay, I'm going to take the blender stick and make sure I get everything off it. I need to find another pink here real quick in my pencil case. Let's try, this should work. What is this? Hot pink. Ooh, it might be too pink, but if we do it light, it should be, we want it to show. Because right now it barely shows. Let's take a little hot pink. Get all the crumbs off. And just swirl in a little, there we go, we can see that a little better under her cheek. There we go, give her some rosiness. I'm gonna put a little bit more of that there with that line. A little bit more in her hand, right under the apple. It's a little better. Then I would add the eggshell. Blend a little bit around it just to, that's not the eggshell, to soften it up. Okay. I'm also going to take a Papermate Flare. This is a blue jasmine for her eye shadow. You can use a pencil or any blue pen you want, dark or lighter. Darker is a little better. Put that on her eye. Right there. Perfect. A little bit of eye makeup. In fact, I think I'm going to use a red. This is a red. What is it called? Hybrid Dual Metallic. And I'm gonna do her necklace. Actually, not just yet. First, I want to blend a little bit on her cheek. I'm sorry. Let's blend. Make sure there's no dark or anything on your blender. Pick it off really well. I'm gonna do her cheek. Don't hit that line on her chin, but just try to blend the center of her cheek. Soften everything up a little bit. And I'll try to blend her chest as well. mean, the face details on her are insignificant because you can hardly see it. It's so tiny, but you gotta put the color in there. Just want it to be a little smoother. I'll do her hand. Just her palm. It's gonna be too hard to get the fingers. Just to smooth it out a little. And then what I would do is I'd take the hot pink one last time and just put it on top of that material, that blending waxy stuff right there. And then I'm going to take this red pen. I use these for a lot of things. You can use any, but a really fine point. This is a gel pen, like a red sparkle gel pen for her necklace. Just because it'll show just the chain. It gives it a little bit of a glitter touch. For the, I wonder what would happen if I added that over her sleeve here. Yeah, you can touch up a little over the red on her dress too, to give it a little more sparkle. See that? These are awesome, these pens. These are, again, they are the Dual Metallics by, I think they're Pentel. I'm going to link everything I'm using. I wouldn't do it as a solid color because I like, you know, makes it more thick and rich if you have the pencil color underneath. This is almost like a top coat. But it looks a little more magical and it hides any imperfections in the blending. She is a magical princess after all. Okay, I think I got all those reds. Just to give it like a little glittery touch. You can do a little bit in their rose, like in the center if you want, maybe. Or just on like one petal. And I'm just touching like a little bit here on these little bulby things that come out of the flowers. Just use you can use any red glitter pen if you can find one. I added a touch or two to these flowers here. Just a little bit. And so we do need the black micron for that little star thing on her neck. Just try to like do the little line and then crisscross over it. It's gonna be a little hard to go over that waxy material though. Yeah, it's not quite gonna, let's see. Well, except that this one is dead, so that could be why. Ah! Let's see, let's try this one. Okay. It's a little better, there we go. Give it that crisscrossy look. Then I'm gonna give her a couple eyelashes. 1, 2, 3, 4 down, going downward. That's why you need these black microns. We are going to do her sleeves. So I have a blue, I don't think do I have a blue Pentel? Thought I did. Sometimes, so this is the black Pentel. And sometimes I'll put like a streak of glitter in the hair. Maybe like a little magic effect. I don't know if you can see that very well. Yeah, I see that. So just putting in like a little bit of a follow the hairline, just a few little details of magical glittery hair. I just like lots of special little details on my pictures. Okay, That's again why these are awesome pens. But if I had a blue, I could do... All right, so we'll do her sleeves, but I found some more of these pens. I was telling you, I can't seem to find a blue. I need to get some more colors. They're awesome. But like the green you could take and you could add, give a little more of a oomph to your leaves if you wanted. Or you could even do that with, that's more of a brown. Just make those like little spots pop up a little more if you wanted. Just add a little details. You can do this with stickles as well, but it's just easier to control when it's a pen. Just adding a little bit of that. I was gonna take this, I have a purple one, and go over these blue spots. I don't feel like they're popping out enough. There we go. They're nice and bold now. Glittery. They're more of a, this is a blue purple. I like that better. All right. We could use, I have a black one, but I don't know where it is. I might even take this for each of her buttons to go over the micron. They look a little bigger. This turns it kind of blue, even though it's purple. You're putting it on top of blue. It's like a dark purplish blue. Looks more like buttons. The center of her bow. Alrighty. Let's do last thing we have. Yay! We have her sleeves. I'm gonna do the top. A little bit of these dabs on the top of the stem up there. Okay, these are awesome pens, and I will link them below for you. All right, so I pulled our blues back out where we had done the Blue Horizon and Starry Night. My cards I put away, but so we're gonna do her sleeves. The Starry Night was the darker one. So all we're really gonna do is kind of follow these, the darker one. This is the Starry Night. We're gonna kind of go along the crease. Kind of lighten our pressure as we go in a little bit. Maybe the top of the sleeve. Same thing down here, which will cover up some of the gunk we got on her arm, which is good. This was going to be about 3 long videos, so that is okay though. Yeah, I got a little bit of black gunk up there. We'll do it, soften it up a little bit right there. Bring it a little bit out. Then let's add in the Blue Horizon. I'm gonna leave a little space for a little white in the center. So I'll blend it, and then I'm gonna go along the top, leave a little kind of line of white right down the middle. Just a teeny bit for like a little bit of a highlight. You see that? Okay, let's go. Let's blend this in. Same thing. Well, on arms, I always leave like a line down the center for a little bit of a highlight or like a reflection. And then I would take the snow and I'd put that right in the center before we blend. And I would take the Starry Night again, darken it up there and along the crease again. It's a little darker here because I got some black, unfortunately, but well. I'm gonna hit this up again. Blend blend it gently with the blue horizon. A little more white. I might put a little stickles on her bow. It's just too dull and doesn't really pop up. I'll show you how I do that. Let's go ahead and blend out her sleeves. Make sure your stick is clear. Let's do the white center first. Okay, then you can go more down to by the sleeve, the edges. Let's get that black off. I do need to touch up. I feel like it's a little too blotchy right here. And then let's blend it out some more. But you can still see where that white was left even when we blend now over everything. It's like a subtle undertone or underlight, so to speak. It's hard to describe, but that is what it is. All right. I'm just blending everything so it's nice and smooth finish, but I just want to make sure you can see everything. Okay, so I'm going to grab some popping bright blue stickles for her bow. I'll show you what I do there, and then we are done. So I grabbed a few stickles. I think this blue is going to be closest, and I'm actually going to fill in her bow with it over the pencil. So you squeeze, then you use the tip to move it around each side. This is an optional detail, but I like them. And then just use it just to kind of move it around. Excellent. Let that sit. You could additionally like do some of her buttons with this, but I think we got that covered with the gel pen. Or like we can come down and dab some on the mushroom cap if you really want those magic dots to kind of stick out. Or you can just use a blue gel pen or just leave it in pencil. Use dot and pull up because it sticks. So I'm going to go over the gel pen, dot and pull up. I'm going to show you one other thing I'm going to do with a white Posca pen. When you have these kind of flowers that look a little dull, we use 3 colors to blend, but with the white and then the blending stick, it was such a pale pink, it dulled it. We're going to put some white Posca dots on it. Flowers. So this also gives a little bit of like 3D texture, which is nice. Also, one thing I forgot, I want to add a little red lipstick. So I'm going to take that red gel pen we did on her necklace. I'm going to put it on her lips. Just a little. Barely. See that? Then I got a white Posca. Shake it good to make sure it's activated. Mine might be dried out, but let's see. I think it's pretty dead. Let's do another one. Or I have an acrylic white pen. So we're just going to put some white dots on the flowers. Just to give it a little detail, a little magic-y feel. You can do a couple over here. 1, 4, 5. And it can also kind of hide anywhere where it's a little dull or flat. I like the look. I might put a dab of white on top of the gel lips. A little highlight. And I might put a little white here on the apple right there. So it glows where we had that white highlight already there with the pencil. And you can just kind of look around, see where you could use a little livening. I mean, you can put a couple dots on the roses if you like. Just so these are the ones that are open, the other ones aren't open all the way. This is kind of more like an Alice in Wonderland theme. Another thing you can do is you can take some red stickle, you can put in the center of the roses. Mine's almost gone. I actually pulled this, I need to get a new one, and I had to cut the tip, so I might not do that. I might glop out too much. Well, let's see. I can get like a tad right in the center of my roses. Just the ones that are bloomed, like a little red glitter pearl in the middle. There we go. Yeah, I feel as if I am satisfied. I want to lighten up a little bit the green on this stem, on the apple. You can't see it that well. These little green things here could be glittery. I'm not sure what they are exactly. I'll grab a green glitter, or I might just even kind of lighten them up with this. What's this? Yeah, I think, I think we're good. I'm going to stop. Sometimes you can put like yellow sparkles all over her dress. There's like a lot of different things you can do, but we are officially done. I'm going to leave this white so the apple really stands out. You can take a solid red alcohol marker and go all around it if you like. You can use a red pan pastel, just like a haze around it, but I want to keep it clean and pretty. So we are done. Thank you so much for sticking to this tutorial. I hope you learned something, and I had a great time doing it. It was fun. The details are beautiful, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.